Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry is one of my favorite novels to teach because we get to deal with racism and help students understand the unfairness that took place and especially how it could still be relevant to us today. So one thing that I'm considering for a space right here is to kind of have an anticipatory set. So before we get started actually reading, I want them to understand the context of this story and Jim Crow laws and things like that. So here's what I've done. So first, I've taken this file right here. This is from Scholastic right here, and I wanted them to focus in on these pages, just kind of getting the background of how Mildred D. Taylor wrote this book. And so it kind of talks about some of the context right there. And so I've put that into my space as well. So you could see that I've attached the file right here. I've attached my standards. But what I want students is I want them to understand the context right here because we're preparing to read it. So this is going to be more of a guide, and it's going to describe some of this and give some scenarios and ask for their thoughts and their feelings towards those. And they should be able to understand some of these things that came about. And they haven't read the book yet, but I want them to think about how these historical realities might affect them. And then we want to make sure that we're focusing on empathy and understanding so that my students can understand how these characters may have felt, and focusing on emotions right there. Now, one thing I wanted to do with this is I want students to take notes as well so that we could have a discussion. So I have this note-taking guide that they would use as well. So as they go through some of this, they're going to be able to answer some of these questions and type down some of the new information they've learned or anything like that. So here's what students are going to do. They're going to first read this document right here. They're going to have this note-taking guide with them, and then they are going to interact with this space right here, which is going to ask them some different questions. As they're interacting, they're going to fill out this note-taking guide. I'm going to maybe give them requirements of maybe at least 10 detailed prompts. All right, so like when they're responding, it can't just be like a yes or anything like that, but I want to encourage them to use some detail in their prompts and their interaction right here. Once students are done, then I will have them share with partners or in small groups what they learned, what was a scenario that they thought was relevant to today, anything like that. And then we bring it back to whole class discussion where I, as the teacher, can make sure everything is hit upon and that I can use our discussion to set the stage for the novel. So that's one way that we can use it in preparation for teaching.